Good to be with you again. It's Sunday afternoon. We just finished 2 services, making a great commitment to the Great Commandment and the Great Commission. And that great commitment that we're going to make includes men. We need men to make that commitment. And Pastor Don and I have been thinking about how we might take men on a different journey than we've ever taken them before. And so Pastor Don has invested quite a few weekdays and weeknights in attending a men's journey group in South County. And he's now going to share it with us at Main Place. It's going to be different than the breakfast that we used to have, and they would just be fellowship, really. But now we're going to get deeper into the Word. And so I've asked Pastor Don to come and share with you men, and you ladies as well, watching this video, so that you'll know what we're going to do and what kind of leadership we're looking for to come out of these groups that we're going to start in early February. And so here's Pastor Don to tell you more about what's happening.
Well, I want to read a verse to you from Scripture, very familiar one, but it's a very intimidating verse. It says in Romans 12, 1-2, it says, I urge you, brethren, there by the mercies of God, to present your bodies a living and holy sacrifice, acceptable to God, which is your spiritual service of worship. And do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind, that you may prove what the will of God is, that which is good and acceptable and perfect. I think that's a tall order. I don't know about you, but I find it to be a very tall order to be able to do this. And I think many men, they stay away from functions at church where this might be put forth as a challenge, this type of thing. But we want to start a men's Bible study. We want to get together as men, and we want to overcome this thing that we have about taking on extra responsibilities and being accountable. And it's intimidating to us. If you've been born again, I want to be able to look at you and say, man of God. And a lot of times if somebody looks at you and says, man of God, you kind of kick the dirt a little bit, turn away. And I know I did for a long time, because I feel like I'm unworthy. A lot of men just feel like they're unworthy. They're unprepared. They're ill-equipped. And so to step out into something like that, they feel like they're way out of their comfort zone. But God has called men to make an impact on the world, to take a stand for the things of Christ, and to become what we call influencers. Many men shy away from this call in their lives, and because of that unworthiness. But Jesus called 12 men to him. Just 12 guys. None of them were worthy. None of them were prepared. None of them were equipped to do the things that he called them to do. But he called them. So I got good news for you. You're qualified. You got the same qualifications as any of these guys. We come together as men, even though we're flawed in many ways, even though we're unworthy. And we want to take that and give it all over to God, because God says in His Word that He's put in us, anyone who's born again, He's put in us the Spirit to be able to overcome those things. The Spirit to be able to be called a man of God and to stand there and be an influencer in other people's lives. So we want to move steadily toward that goal. Our starting line might be unworthy. That might be your starting line. It might be mine, flawed. But my goal is to be able to speak like Paul did when he said, I fought the good fight. I've run this race, Timothy. I've run it for you and for all my other disciples. And I've run it to show you that it can be done. Because Paul said, man, when it comes to sinning, I'm at the top of the list. I'm the number 1 guy as far as sinning is concerned. Yet I've run the race. I've fought the fight. I've finished this task. And I know that God has used me. Now we can all say that. We can all move toward that. So we have this time that we're going to meet on Saturday morning at 8 o'clock right here at church in Orange. And we're going to spend time talking about this journey we want to begin together, and talking about a regular Bible study together, and talking about growing together in intimacy with Christ, because it begins with intimacy. We move from loving Him to obeying Him. A lot of us think that we obey first to prove that we love. But Jesus says, love me. If you love me, you'll keep my commandments. So we want to learn to love Him. And the way we do that is by being with Him in intimacy. We want to learn how to do that, and we're going to learn how to do it. So I invite you all to come together, that men of God are going to take a stand in such a time as this, and we're going to grow together in His Word and in His grace. We'll see you on Saturday, guys. Take care and God bless.